Former unified junior middleweight champion Jarrett Hurd no longer looking to regain his titles and has pulled out of the immediate rematch against Julian J-Rock Williams. Tap in.
All right, I'm ready. They love when I was down, now they see I bounce back. Now they all in their feelings. My partner told me, King, don't worry about that. Said it's time to make a killing. It's a new day, getting new money, but I don't with new. I'm just sticking to the business and the money is the mission, about to stack it to the ceiling. Now they all in their feelings. So you mad, bro? Now they all in their feelings. Tell me I got them all in their feelings. All in their feelings. So you mad? Now they all in their feelings. Tell me what you mad for? All in their feelings. All in their feelings. It's a new day. Now they all in their feelings. Money, but I got them all in their feelings. All in their feelings. Now they all in their feelings.
What's really good, fight fans? It's your boy King Boxing Talk. We back with another one, man. We got some very, very unfortunate news in the boxing world today. Very unfortunate, but let's talk about it. So, Julian J-Rock Williams, Jarrett Hurd, the rematch is officially off. Shout out to Keith Eidig with theboxingscene.com. He first broke the news. Well, that's where I first caught the news. Boxingscene.com, that this rematch between J-Rock and Jarrett Hurd is officially off. And you know, it just as a fight fan, it's very, very unfortunate, and it's disappointing because, you know, we were looking forward to this rematch. The first fight was a great fight. The first fight, Jarrett Hurd, I believe he was like a 6-1 favorite to win the fight. Julian J-Rock Williams, he was obviously the underdog, and he came out. He put on an incredible performance. He held it down for Philly. We all know Philly fighters got that special grit about them. Julian J-Rock Williams, he pulled out the unanimous decision in what I would consider as, you know, a candidate for fight of the year. The fight was that good. It was, excuse me, the fight was that good. It was, you know, you put your front foot in the bucket. I'm going to put my front foot in the bucket, and we're going to stand here, and we're going to slug it out, and may the best man win. And that's the kind of fight that it was, man. It wasn't a lot of moving. It wasn't a lot of, you know, lateral movements, back and forth. It was just center of the ring, toe to toe, blow for blow, high action packed fight. But unfortunately, it looked like the rematch is going to be off. Is it off or on hold? That's the question. That's what we don't know. The rematch was supposed to take place December 14th at the Barclays Center. Which, you know, December 14th, it was looking like that was going to be a crazy day for the sport of boxing. It had been rumored that the rematch between J-Rock and Jarrett Hurd was going to, they were going to headline the card December 14th. And also on that same card, it was rumored that PBC were going to have the co-main event be the rematch between Tony Harrison and Jermell Charlo. So there's two rematches of two fights where the underdog came out with the victory and became a champion. Like, that was going to be a crazy stacked card. Also on the same night in New York City, that PBC card with those two rematches was supposed to be at the Barclays Center. Also that same night, the top ranked card, of course, you have Terrence Crawford at Madison Square Garden fighting his mandatory challenger, Egidijus Kavalauskas, which the whole plan for that is the fight is on ESPN. The ESPN Heisman Trophy presentation, the College Football Heisman Trophy Presentation Award, is that same day in New York City, and obviously it's covered by ESPN. So the Heisman Trophy presentation was to be a segue leading up to later that night, the Crawford versus Kavalauskas fight at Madison Square Garden. And then, like I said, over in Brooklyn, at the Barclays, we were supposed to have this massive card by PBC. Now, with Jarrett Hurd opting to not go for his immediate rematch with Julian J-Rock Williams, which J-Rock Williams is obligated to that rematch as Jarrett Hurd was the previous champion. So Jarrett Hurd was the one that had the rematch clause stating that if he lost to J-Rock, J-Rock had to rematch him if he chose to do so. He lost the fight. Jarrett Hurd lost the fight, and he initiated that rematch clause immediately. But now it looks like he has a change of heart. For whatever reason, he's stepping away from that. He doesn't want the rematch immediately. So with him stepping down and not fighting Julian J-Rock Williams on December 14th, I would imagine that if PBC is still going to go forward with the Tony Harrison Jermell Charlo rematch, I would imagine that would now be promoted to the main event of that card. But we'll see, what happens. Now, as far as, like I said, why Jarrett Hurd is pulling out of this rematch, we don't know. We haven't heard from Jarrett Hurd, so we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and as to why he's all of a sudden pulled out of this rematch. And there's a few things that you can speculate on, but nothing's concrete. You can't really say he pulled out for any particular reason without actually hearing from him. But as far as a few different scenarios or a few different reasons as to why he pulled out, I'll touch on a few, but again, it's just speculation. It's nothing that that's 100% accurate, because we haven't heard from Jarrett Hurd. But one thing that could be the reason why he's pulling out of the rematch is because he parted ways with his trainer, so he's gonna have a new trainer for the fight, since he's no longer with his old trainer. After he lost to J-Rock, him and his trainer, they wasn't seeing eye to eye. He got rid of his trainer. He's bringing in a new trainer. This new trainer, for all we know, this new trainer may have some things that he really want to work with Jarrett Hurd on. Maybe this trainer sees some things, his area of weakness that he really wants to work on and polish, and get Jarrett Hurd, back to being the elite level fighter that we know that he is. And we all know that when you have a new trainer coming in and you're trying to get a fighter to change his fighting style, or not even necessarily change his fighting style, but just get rid of some bad habits that it could have been some bad habits that didn't allow him to be successful in the first fight. Trying to change a fighter or get rid of his bad habits, you can't do that in one training camp, So maybe this new trainer that Jarrett Hurd is going to be working with, he's like, hey, we got a lot of work to do, and in order to do that work, we need more than one training camp. So that means we're going to need, some tune-up fights before we take on this rematch. That's respectable. Coming from a guy like Jarrett Hurd, who he was a champion, he was a unified champion, and he just took a loss. If he decides that, or if he feels like, maybe I'm just not ready to go into this immediate rematch, because at this point, if you go into the immediate rematch, it's pretty much do or die. You can't lose 2 times in a row. You can't lose 2 times in a row in the sport of boxing. Unfortunately, in this day and age, the boxing fans will completely forget about you. You will be trash to the boxing fans. So you got to respect Jarrett Hurd if this is the reason why he's not going into the immediate rematch. If they see something that he really needs to work on and they want to, get their game tight salute. Another thing, and this is just speculation, I don't like putting this target on anybody's back because it's not something that, you know, you don't want to put that title on somebody. But the other reason that this fight has been called off could be, again, I don't know for 100%, but it could be because lately, Julian J-Rock Williams, he and his manager, they have been doing a whole lot of talk about Jarrett Hurd needs to be enrolled in the VADA drug testing program. It's the Olympic style drug testing program. And they've really been, you know, barking up that tree heavy and saying that, you know, it needs to be done 90 days before the fight, this and that, and they've really been talking about Jarrett Hurd has, if he wants this rematch, he has to do the VADA testing, and now we don't have a rematch. Again, this is just a theory. This isn't something that I'm placing on him. This is just something that not only myself, but a lot of other people have observed, that they've been calling for VADA testing. The rematch is no longer happening. Moving forward. You take that for however you want to take it. Moving forward. Another reason why this fight may not be, another reason why this fight is not happening right now is just could be because simply Jarrett Hurd can no longer make the weight of 154 pounds. Me personally, I've always thought dude was a huge junior middleweight. Dude is huge. Like, he's easily walking around at 190, 200 pounds. And he's cutting down to 154. And it could be that he's just not able to make the weight comfortably anymore because, like I said, shout out to Keith Idek, BoxingScene.com. They reported that Jarrett Hurd is thinking about moving up to 160 pounds. So this could be the reason. This could be the reason why he pulled out of the rematch with J-Rock, because he just can't. He simply can't make the weight, and he'd rather move up to 160 and see what's ahead, or see what's in store for him at the middleweight division. Now, as far as J-Rock, what's left for J-Rock, he has no opponent. From what I've been hearing, he still would like to fight on that same day, on December 14th. Who he's going to have as an opponent, we don't know, but he does have some options. I wouldn't see him in the ring with a guy like Jaime Munguia, who was the WBO 154 champion. I wouldn't see him getting in a fight with Jaime Munguia, which I think that would be a good fight, but I don't think that happened. I don't think that'll happen, as we've already been hearing reports of Jaime Munguia possibly vacating his 154-pound title to move up to 160 as well. And off subject, real quick, well, kind of not off subject, but side note, if Jaime Munguia moves up to 160, there's going to be a vacant WBO title. Word on the street, again, word on the street, this isn't 100% factual, but I can definitely see it happening. But word on the street is, if Terrence Crawford can't get, or after Terrence Crawford faces Egidijus Kavaliauskas on December 14th, if he can't get an immediate fight with Errol Spence Jr. in early 2020, word on the street is that Terrence is possibly thinking about testing the waters, moving up to 154 to fight for that vacant WBO title. He's already the WBO champion at 147. If he were to go up to 154, he can be an immediate mandatory to fight for the vacant 154-pound WBO championship. Now, is he going to stay at 154 pounds? I doubt it. I think he really wants to be undisputed at 147. However, if he can't get an immediate shot at Errol Spence Jr. early 2020, why not be great and go to 154 and get that the vacant WBO title and become a 4-division world champion? That's just adding on to his legacy. But again, back to the subject at hand. What's next for J-Rock? Again, like I said, I don't see him fighting Jaime Munguia, as Jaime Munguia is rumored to move up to 160. What I'd like at 154 is for J-Rock is Erislandy Lara. I think that would be a great fight. I don't think that would be a fight that would still, if he were to take that fight on December 14th, I still think Tony Harrison and Jermell Charlo 2, the rematch, I still think that fight would need to be promoted to the headliner or the main event, and then the co-main event could be Julian J-Rock Williams versus Erislandy Lara. Lara, he just came off of a great performance against Ramon Alvarez, the brother of Saul Canelo Alvarez. Obviously, having the name doesn't mean anything. You still got to get in the ring and perform. And Erislandy Lara, he made some easy work of Canelo Alvarez's brother, Ramon Alvarez. That wouldn't be a bad fight. That would be a good fight. So, I'd like to see that if J-Rock decides that he still wants to fight on December 14th. Now, if he doesn't fight December 14th, the plan from the beginning already was the 2 rematches on the same night. J-Rock Williams versus Jarrett Hurd, and then the co-main event, Tony Harrison versus Jermell Charlo 2. The winner of both of those fights were supposed to clash and meet up. So the other option for J-Rock, if he doesn't fight on December 14th, the other option is to just sit back and wait and see what happens between Tony Harrison and Jermell Charlo, and then unify titles with the winner of that fight in early 2020, But it's going to be crazy. It's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out. But until then, that's all I got for y'all. Jarrett Swift Hurd, he has pulled out of the rematch. He does not want the rematch at this time. I don't know if he doesn't want the rematch right now and he wants it later, or if he's just not interested at all. Again, we need to wait and hear from Jarrett Hurd to figure out what's going on with him and his camp and why they pulled out of this rematch. King Boxing Talk, it's your boy King. That's all I got. Signing out. Till the next time, KING, I'm gone. So I want to say I appreciate you for checking out this video. If you like the content and you want to hear and see more content on this channel, then tap in. And when I say tap in, I mean hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can get all the notifications for all new videos that I drop on the channel. And the best way to really help the channel grow is hit the share button. Share it on your Facebook, share it on your Twitter, share it with the people that you like to talk boxing with. We having healthy, respectable boxing conversations and debates on a daily. So just tap in, you know what I'm saying? And before I go, I want to shout out to the channels that I watch every single day. I watch a lot of channels and I listen to a lot of channels, but I want to shout out the guys that I watch and listen to every single day. So salute to them: Dante's Boxing Nation, Blue Blood Sports TV, Boxing Ego, Goodfellas Sports TV, Famous AAA. And again, tap in, KING, and I'm gone.